So welcome everyone to today's Thoroughgood webcast entitled Data Discovery Using Qlik. My name is James Leonard and I thank you for taking the time to join us here today. I've been with Thoroughgood for the last 6 years and have been working with the Qlik theme for pretty much all of those. I've worked with a wide range of our clients in areas including pharmaceuticals, consumer goods, as well as insurance. With me today is Deepika Bhatt, one of our Qlik experts who will be taking us through a few demonstrations. Deepika is experienced in working with our customers in finance, ethics and compliance, and supply chain. In today's session, we'll try and cover off a number of objectives. The first is to show how the Qlik suite caters to the need of a data-driven organization. Next, we're going to showcase some of the latest features available within QlikSense while looking at an industry use case. And finally, we'll conclude with how we can extend the insights of our Qlik applications by embedding the analytics within other platforms. So breaking out those objectives into an agenda for today, we're going to run through a quick introduction to Thoroughgood to start with. Next, we'll take a look at the Qlik product suite, then take a look at a QlikSense use case and how the new features in QlikSense are enhancing its self-service capability. From there, we'll go on to look at how we can embed our QlikSense insights into other applications, and then we'll wrap up today's session with a summary at the end. So for those of you who are unfamiliar with Thoroughgood, we're an independent professional services consulting firm specializing in business intelligence and analytics solutions. We've been delivering value in the space for over 25 years. We operate as a single organization serving our customers globally and often working in leveraged teams across our offices in New York, Philadelphia, London, Bangalore, Sao Paulo, and Singapore. All of our consultants are recruited and trained in the same way to develop a unique mix of business understanding, technical expertise, and analytical ability. We provide a full range of services to support your business goals, covering the end-to-end life cycle of any project, from initial strategy and roadmap definitions to requirements gathering, design and implementation of complex systems, and then the training and support of the business users. We do also provide ongoing data or analytics services as well as planning and budgeting business solutions. Finally, we are independent in that we don't align with a single technology vendor. Instead, we work with a wide array of technology firms in the business intelligence market, including back-end, front-end, and analytics-driven technologies. With this independence, we are able to develop well-rounded expertise that allows us to help our clients integrate across platforms successfully, such as in one of today's demos, we are loading data from the Microsoft Azure SQL database into the Qlik suite. While we work with all of these technologies and many more, we do also partner with a variety of these technologies as well, indicated with the partner logos shown here. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Deepika, who's going to take us through some of the Qlik offerings we'll be looking at in today's session.
Thank you, James, for the intro. In this webinar, we are going to look at how we can analyze different business scenarios with the technology offerings from Qlik. We have chosen to use the Qlik products in this webinar as more often than not we see the Qlik product suite being utilized across enterprises, the reason for which will become apparent in the demonstrations. Looking at Qlik at high level, it is not just a single tool. It currently offers 3 different products: QlikView, QlikSense, and Endprinting. The beauty of Qlik is that with its range of products, it is able to meet each user's needs all across the spectrum. In this session, we will be focusing mainly on QlikSense and the analytics platform. In our demo, we will showcase how QlikSense can be used not only for high-level dashboarding, but can also be used for more guided navigation and interactive exploration. The power of Qlik in comparison to other traditional BI tools, and one of the key reasons for success, is its flexibility and adaptability to meet the complex and ever-changing needs of any enterprise organization. It allows developers to model data to meet specific analytical requirements while giving a range of powerful functions to control and drive various aspects of the user experience, and this can either be within QlikSense or QlikView toolset. The combination of two allows a flexible application to be developed that can meet the requirements of the most complex business questions. We will emphasize this flexibility by showing how QlikSense can be used to analyze our trade profitability with a custom-developed app that can simply be extended by a business user. Another important thing we will consider is how the flexibility of the Qlik products can be used to meet the needs of a range of different business users. Think about the users in your business community and the types of tasks and data analysis they are doing. We have put a view of it on a scale here with general consumers on the left and deep analysts on the right, as the different community users have different needs. Some users just need to be informed and monitor data, while others will need details and of further users who might need deep dive and analytics to find solutions to their problems. The flexibility of the Qlik product means that this can all be achieved within a single tool set. Qlik offers many benefits, and I just want to cover a couple of them before we get hands-on with the demo. By utilizing tools like Qlik Server and Access Point, reports are located centrally and are easily accessible from anywhere when a user is connected to the network. This means that there is always one source of truth and limits the confusion that can arise when everyone is using separate reports which may not have the latest data or the updates. It also eases the burden for the development, as you can develop one report that can be utilized by a broad range of people by incorporating filters and also security measures. With the server, it is also possible to set up automated reload schedules to make sure that your dashboards are always reporting the most recent data on a predictable schedule. QlikView also utilizes in-memory data modeling, which increases performance over constantly running queries against an external data model. It also gives your developers more freedom in their ability to create customized reports with unique functions and capabilities. The data model also allows you to combine multiple different data sources into one cohesive structure. Finally, Qlik can integrate with many of the technologies that you're already using to increase user adoption. As we all know, even the best solutions can become useless if the users do not adopt them. QlikView is able to integrate directly into tools like your internal web portals, SharePoint, and Salesforce to provide additional functionality to the tools your users may already be familiar with. And with the addition of end printing, QlikView is now easy to integrate with Microsoft Office products such as Excel and PowerPoint as well. With that, I'll hand over back to James, who will now take us through a demo for the trade profitability use case.
Thank you, Deepika. So in today's QlikSense example, I'm going to look at how we can best manage and optimize our trade investment by highlighting potential retailer opportunity. We have done this, as I mentioned earlier, by extracting data from our Azure SQL database and then performing the transformation logic in QlikSense. This was to combine our internal sales data with external sales data. This will allow us to compare our own profit with that of the retailers we have trade terms with, and then identify any potential opportunities. As an aside note, with my own hat on, I've been given some focus products to work on this quarter to ensure growth across our retailers. However, these focus products are stored in a spreadsheet I hold locally, an issue we all know well. So I'll somehow have to bring this into the application we're using today. Before I jump into the demo, I just want to go through two key aspects that I'm going to focus on within QlikSense. So first of all, we will use the developer-led guided analytics to analyze our potential retailer opportunity. Within this, we'll look at how some of the features, both old and new in QlikSense, aid us in this analysis. However, there's only so far that this developer-led design can take us. There are always more questions we want to ask and more data that we want to analyze. So after this, I'll look at how two of the new exciting features of QlikSense allow us to simply add new data sets into the application without having to write reams and reams of code. And then from here, we'll look at how we can use the natural language query ability within QlikSense, called Insight, to allow us to ask and answer questions on our data. So without further ado, I'm going to switch over and jump into the QlikSense demo. So first of all, we'll start off by looking at one of those developer-built dashboards for the analytics. Here we can see some of the key metrics that are driving our trade profitability. So we're looking at our own operating profit as well as the retailer's profit and margins. We can also see some more detailed breakdowns within the dashboard. So we can see all of the discounts that we're offering and through the different trade terms, as well as how our retailers are performing year on year. So we can do some benchmarking on year-on-year performance as well. And then we can see how our different brand families are doing over the same year-on-year comparisons. For today's demo, I want to focus on those brands that are performing poorly or mediocre for the business. So to do that, I'm going to use the lasso tool available in QlikSense. So I'll use this tool to highlight the brand families I'm interested in. And what you'll notice as I make the selections is that the whole dashboard updates. You can see the movements on the screen draw our eye to potential changes in the data that we want to analyze further. The biggest change that I saw there was in this retailer profit, current year versus previous year, for the Williams retailer. But for the purposes of today's demo, I'm going to focus on my convenience channel to begin with, and then as we do that, we can see what the largest retailer is for our convenience channel. In this case, it's no longer Williams, it's indeed the wholesaler retailer that we can see on the screen. I'm going to make that wholesaler selection, and then we'll see what the dashboard tells us then. One thing that I noticed through the movements within the application is that our retailer margin has dropped off significantly. The global baseline that we saw as we entered the application was around 17.4% in terms of the retailer margin. That's dropped off to 15.7%. Now I'm thinking that I want to analyze that in a little bit more detail. With the new drill-through capability within QlikSense, I can quickly see I got my retailer profit KPI, and if I was to double-click on that retailer profit, again, using that developer-led analytics, it'll allow me to drill into a more detailed dashboard that shows some key metrics for my retailer KPIs. And you can see, as the application loads, it's carried the context through. So we've taken the brand family, the convenience channel group, and the wholesalers customer group we were interested in into that drill down application. Here we're looking at the retailer dashboard. So I can see, again, some key KPIs that could be driving my retailer changes and see the change versus the previous year as well, and the different brand variants is being driven across. So again, here the largest are the deodorant spray. I've been tipped off though that in this case, Storm is quite an interesting brand family to focus on, and I may wish to look at my own kind of focus area, which for the purpose of this demo is the antiperspirants. One thing that I noticed on this application though is the developer hasn't given me the options to filter by just Storm and antiperspirants. But no worries, QlikSense has the option to use the global search functionality. So here I can start searching for data that I might be interested in and start answering some of those questions. So I said I was interested in Storm, and what you'll see is I start typing Storm correctly this time, is that it starts searching through the attributes in my data set to see where Storm is used. So here we can see it's used across a range of the product dimension in the different brand families, subfamilies and variants, etc. But I said I wanted to focus on antiperspirants, and we can see things like anti-dandruff as well in there. To filter to that, I just continue writing, and as I type antiperspirants, Qlik has started to give me suggestions, so I can select anti-dandruff, antibacterial, antiperspirants here. I'll select antiperspirants, and then hit enter, and that will apply that filter selection to the application I'm looking at. So here we've just filtered down to the antiperspirant sprays, and unsurprisingly we can see all of the retailer growth versus the previous year is across the deodorant sprays for this example. So there, with just a few clicks and using the drill-through capability, we've been able to answer some pretty detailed questions. But I said at the beginning of today's demo, I had been given some focus products to look at in this quarter, and I want to start analyzing those. And that's really where we can switch over to start looking at the true power of QlikSense, which is its self-serve capability. So what I'm going to do is look at how I can bring in a spreadsheet that I hold locally that I mentioned at the beginning of today's demonstration. So for the purpose of this, it's a very simple spreadsheet. It's just got all of the product codes and the focus owner, which in the case of this demonstration is just myself, order picker. I want to load this data into the application so I can start slicing and dicing and look who's selling the most. To do that, before, for those of you who have used QlikView in the past, you'd have to write some code to bring that into the application data model. In this case, within QlikSense, we have the new Data Manager option. If I select Data Manager, you'll see it gives me a visual representation of my data. And not only a visual representation, but I can look at all of the joins within it and understand how all the data fits together. For this demo though, I wanted to load in that new sheet that I hold locally. So I'll just click the plus button, and this gives me the interface to start loading in my data without having to write any code. It's just a drag and drop Qlik interface we're going to use today. So I'll navigate to where I hold that Excel file in my file share, and here's the focus owner spreadsheet. I'll click on that, and you can see QlikSense has given me a preview option. Here, I don't just have to load the file. I can make filter selections. I could bring in data from multiple sheets. I could exclude fields if I wished. But because we've got such a simple sheet for today's demo, I'm going to bring the whole data set into the application, and we click Add Data. Now what the QlikSense application is doing now is loading all of the data into the data model. Not just the new data I've added, but it's reloading all of the other data as well. So what I'm going to do is switch over to an application I've loaded earlier, because that'll take a couple of minutes. So you can see no difference apart from the sheet has now been loaded, and we can see that sheet's exactly the same. It's got our SKU code that we looked at before, as well as the focus owner. Now what I've been thinking at this point is, how do I bring this into my data model? Well, if I click on the sheet attribute or entity, you can see it's making some suggestions. So QlikSense here is making some recommended associations. As I click sheet, you will notice that the dim product table is highlighted green. That means that QlikSense has found a positive association with the data. So without having to write any code at all, I simply have to drag my sheet over the dim product dimension, and it automatically creates the association. So here we've linked the SKU code from the sheet to that dim product I mentioned, we can see a positive match because here we can see SKU code on one side matches the SKU code on the other side, and this is one of my products because I'm the focus owner. So if we wanted to make more complicated composite keys, we could still do this with the drag and drop interface and modify that key as well. If for some reason we hadn't made our sheet nice and simple, we could also do some modifications to the data, again without having to write code. So we get this edit button available at the bottom of the screen, and here we can go in and make some more complex transformations such as pivoting the data, adding calculated fields, or doing things like replacing nulls and other values. But for the purposes of today's demo, we'll keep it nice and simple. So what we'd have to do then is click the load data. That would load the data into the application. But just like before, I've already done that for us, and we can see here we've got that sheet loaded in, and the data is already within the data model. So now I've got all my data into the application, I want to start asking questions of it. In this case, I know the question that I want to ask of my application, but I don't know how I want to visualize the data. So for this example, I'm really interested to begin with, as I said, comparing how Picker and I are doing in terms of sales performance. So what I can do is use the natural language query tool within Qlik Sense called Insights to start interrogating the data by asking it questions. So I said I wanted to look at my gross sales value, so I'm going to look at my GSV. And I want to see that by the focus owner attribute that I've just brought in. So there it comes, focus owner. And you can see as I start typing, Qlik Sense is automatically looking at different ways we can visualize the data. So straight away, I can see my performance in comparison to Picker's is far superior. My sales value for this quarter is looking pretty good. I also want to start analyzing how that's broken down. So what brands are driving that growth for me over to Picker. So I can keep typing, I can look at my brand family in this case, and as you see I type, Qlik Sense is making suggestions to help my analysis. So I'm just going to choose brand family, and again it updates the different visualizations that we could use on the data. So some quite interesting visualizations here. We can see how I'm performing in comparison to the Picker, but against all of the other products as well. Now I've found a visualization I like, which is the one on the right, I can actually start building that into my already created developer dashboards. So to do that, I have the option to either add this to a new sheet, or I could actually add it into some pre-built dashboards as well. In this case, I'm going to add it to the sales forecast dashboard. I'll click that, and straight away, Qlik Sense has added that into the dashboard. I can drill through into my sales forecast, and we can see that visualization I've just created with the natural language query editor has been added to the dashboard. So we can continue doing our analysis now. So if I wanted to look at who's selling the most earth tons products, we'll see actually in this case it's just a Picker. I don't have any materials or products within that brand family. So that's the end of my demonstration for today, and hopefully I've shown how the new features in Qlik Sense not only enable the developer-led analytics but also true self-service as well. With that, I'm going to hand over to Picker, who's going to take us through how we can take our Qlik applications one step further.
We are now going to move on to the section covering embedded analytics. What do we mean by embedded BI and analytics? Traditionally, we have seen a large number of users having access to operational systems like CRM or ERP. A smaller number of people have access to BI and reporting tools that provide dashboards, and BI has often been standalone. But in the past few years, we have seen a convergence. Vendors are now providing the capability to embed analytics in the operational systems that we spend a large part of our day jobs in. From my point of view, there are some practical aspects to consider in the definition of an embedded tool. No need to go to multiple applications to answer your business questions, single sign-on, similar look and feel, data-aided decision-making at your fingertips. As the size of the circles are indicative of the number of users in each of these areas, this means that you're opening up your BI and analytical capabilities to a wider community as you integrate BI with other day-to-day use applications. The Qlik Analytics platform offers this exact capability. Qlik Analytics platform puts the power of its associative data indexing engine and visualizations in the hands of the application developers through powerful, open and modern APIs, allowing customers to easily and with great flexibility embed Qlik's powerful visual analytics capabilities right into their own applications. What we will see now is how analytic capabilities can be broadened by viewing everything at once. So in our next demo, what we are going to see is how we can integrate Qlik Sense into a web app for seamless analysis, and in turn creating a single platform of truth while leveraging automatic reloads to keep all the data in sync. So what I'm going to do is now switch over to a demo application which I've created to replicate possibly an organization's internal web portal. So thanks to James, I'm using the same QlikSense application which he was earlier demoing and have integrated that into the internal sales portal. So if I go to suppose the trade profitability page, this shows the first example of how I can very easily embed charts that have already been developed into a web portal where you can integrate that with contextual information. This chart I have intentionally kept as a non-interactive one, so you cannot actually make any selections, but this will automatically reload with the backend refresh that happens on your QlikSense dashboard. So these numbers will be refreshed every time you reload the page based on how frequent your backend refreshes are. The second example that I'm going to show is how we can integrate a complete dashboard which has been developed on the backend to, for example, analyze the retailer KPIs into a web page where your retailers would where your sales managers will go to see the retailer partnership. This dashboard is exactly same as the one which James was demoing in his QlikSense tutorial, and this will be exactly interacting with the users in the same way. So for example, I can go again, use the lasso tool to select any of my low or mediocre performing brands and select any customer groups that I might be interested in and do on-the-fly analysis while looking at my own sales portal. The third example which I'm going to show here is, suppose if I wanted to go to the brand performance page where I've integrated, again, individual visualizations from already created QlikSense app along with textual commentary, which might be more useful when a person wants to further get insights out of their data. So I've included individual charts and also put more text here, and again I have predicted the sales out value, which makes more sense when you add more context to it. Here again, these charts are going to be interactive throughout the page. So if in case I'm interested in bath and shower data, as I select bath and shower, you will see that your other charts on the page are updated almost instantly, and not just the charts which are associated in this section, but also the sales forecast chart is automatically updated. All these views will be automatically reloaded whenever the QlikSense backend application is refreshed. So you always have one version of truth at your fingertips while you are working in your own internal web portals. This is just one example of integrating it into a web portal. A similar integration is also possible with other day-to-day applications like SharePoint or Salesforce. With such flexible embedding options, you can share the value derived from using analytics across a wider user base. This gets the right information to the right person at the right time, which empowers them to make the right decision with unbroken train of thought while leveraging your BI and analytics investment. Now, as we approach the end of this webcast, a quick recap of today's objectives. We first went through the offerings from the Qlik product suite and the competitive advantages they offer with the Qlik's associative engine. We then looked at how data can be integrated from different sources into QlikSense to create meaningful insights for your business. We also explored some of the new features which greatly enhance the tool's self-serve capability. From there, we progressed to see how we can take data-driven decision-making further by embedding our QlikSense insights into other applications. Here we have listed a few different areas that we can provide service to our clients. As James mentioned at the start, we are an end-to-end supplier capable of developing solutions across a wide range of technologies. We work with our clients to actually outline a strategy and design solutions, then help them to integrate them into their day-to-day business with proper training and user adoption. There's plenty more under the topic of using QlikSense for your enterprise. We have more webcasts coming up covering other BI technologies and topics as well. We also have a variety of pre-recorded content available on demand on our website at thorogood.com/perspectives. That leads us to the end of our presentation today. If there are any questions that you might have after the end of this webcast, feel free to reach out to either James or I. Our contact information is up on the screen now.